Hey, gang, come on in, one and all. It is live stream Monday night, 1 week from the big day. We're calling it the day of 100 executive orders, 1 week from today. And to make things even more amazing, I got something big to share with you. We are entering a new era filled with incredible opportunities, and I'm thrilled to announce an upcoming event unlike anything we've done before. Check this puppy out.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. This will truly be the golden age of America.
January 30th. Mark it on your calendars, gang. January 30th, our live virtual America's Golden Age Summit. I'm going to be joined by some really extraordinary special guests, top experts in freedom, finances, family, and they'll be sharing insights and strategies you won't hear anywhere else for flourishing in the coming golden age. President Trump has promised that his administration will help small businesses and families prosper by removing stifling regulations and red tape, opening up doors for every single Americans to build wealth and secure their future. You're not going to want to miss this. I'll be sharing more details in the next few days, so check your email and watch this channel for tons of updates. You're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. I am your host, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to give you a front row seat in the rise of the new golden age. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, as we always do on Monday nights. We'll be here live on YouTube, I don't know, say 20 minutes or so, maybe a half hour. And then we're going to go off platform to our censorship-free exclusive live stream platform. So if you want to join us over there for some sweet fellowship and scholarly discussion, please scan that QR code or click the link in the description below. For a very small monthly fee, a modest monthly fee, you can have access to our exclusive Q&As, exclusive content, exclusive conversations and meetups with me, yours truly, and you get access to all of our exclusive offers. So click the link or scan that QR code to become a member of our Courageous Conservatives Club, where thousands of us gather each and every week to restore the pillars of faith, family, and freedom as we usher in a new conservative age. It is being called the day of 100 EOs, 100 executive orders, a century of executive orders in 24 hours. That's what we are to expect on day one of President Trump's triumphant return back to office. This is a scoop coming from Axios. They're reporting that Trump already has 100 executive orders ready to go, ready to drop, almost immediately after his inauguration on noon, Monday, the 20th, 1 week from today. According to Axios, Trump personally unveiled the 100 EOs for Senate Republicans last week, making sure that they are ready to hit the ground running. We got his inauguration day schedule just came out. So the day is beginning. You're going to love this. The day begins at St. John's Church for a service there. Now, I'm sorry, that is so flipping badass. Yeah, I know you don't tend to hear those two in the same sentence, but St. John's Church, if you don't know, well, you'll remember. St. John's Church is the church he took that photo in, that iconic photo in front of after the BLM riots damaged the church, which is a historic site. It was one of the most controversial moments of his presidency for the lunatic woke progressive legacy media that tore into him because they were concerned he was exploiting this terrible moment of racial injustice in our nation for his own political gain, kowtowing to the Christian right, who of course did end up voting for Trump by about 90%. Ha ha ha. But he'll be starting the day at that very church, St. John's Church, just to rub it into their woke faces. Then, after the church service, he'll be having the customary tea at the White House with the exiting president, of course, Joe Biden, and the forever former First Lady, Jill Biden, who I got to admit, I don't know. I've been endeared to a certain extent ever since the election. When she wore red on November the 5th, I realized, all right, I think she's on our team. Joe doesn't know where he is, but I think Jill is on our team. Regardless, they're going to go off into the sunset here. Then at noon, of course, the moment we've all been waiting for, Trump will take the oath of office at the U.S. Capitol. After saying goodbye to Biden and Kamala Harris and making sure to let the door hit particularly Harris in the ass, he'll be holding a signing ceremony near the Senate chamber where he will likely sign nominations so that his cabinet selections can be confirmed immediately. By the way, word on the street is they're all going to get confirmed, every single one of his cabinet nominations. There will be a lunch hosted by the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies. Again, that's traditional. They're the ones who organize the swearing-in ceremony. There will be then the customary parade from the Capitol to the White House. I'm sure extraordinary security. And then upon entering the White House, upon his triumphant return, Trump will then be holding a signing ceremony where he is expected to sign upwards of 100 executive orders. It will be a flurry of orders like nothing we've ever seen. These orders will include reinstating Title 42, which is an EO that Trump used in his first term, allowing for mass deportations. He'll be reinstating immediately the building of the wall at the southern border. And he'll reportedly be invoking part of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And that allows local and state law enforcement officials to assist in the duties of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So it'd be an entirely holistic enforcement structure. So you have federal, local, and statewide authorities enforcing immigration law. This is what the border czar Tom Homan has been referring to in terms of, basically destroying the ultra woke mayors and governors who claim they're going to stand in the way of these mass deportations over my dead body. And Homan's like, do whatever you want because we're going to deputize your own state and local law enforcement. Can you imagine that? Now deputized by the federal government. Can you imagine them, their own local and state law enforcement actually enforcing the law over the willful abdication of their law enforcement duties, governors and mayors and the like. And then, of course, Trump will attend and address 3 inaugural balls throughout the evening. So what can I say? Christmas is coming in January, gang. And the left is absolutely losing it. They are finally starting. I don't know what to say. I mean, it does seem like it's finally starting to dawn on the last vestige of leftists out there. It's starting to dawn upon them what's happening here. Now, if you haven't seen it, here is the now disgraced former CNN anchor, Don Lemman, having an absolute temper tantrum the other day. Check this out.
When you see something like what happened yesterday, people have a right to be concerned because they go, well, if they're going to do that there publicly, what are they going to say and do behind closed doors? If they're going to acquiesce seemingly like that publicly, then what does that mean in the broader sense of the structure, the fabric of our society? You have to indicate to the American people that this is not normal. That's kikiing and skinning and grinning with someone who has those that you have called a fascist over the last couple of years and the last months. That's not normal. Folks are tired of the behavior being normalized. Civility does not mean befriending people or foregoing your morals and your principles and your character. If someone disrespects my loved one, I don't have to smile in their fucking face. And they're going to know it. If Ted Cruz can't stand up for his wife that Donald Trump calls ugly, then who is he going to stand up for? Now, listen, it could be, you guys could be right. Barack Obama is classy. He's a classy guy. But these are the very same MAGA people who have called, and Donald Trump has helped promote, calling Michelle Obama a man. I'm not smiling in your face if you're calling my sister or my mother or my wife or girlfriend a man. Fuck you.
What is a man, Don? Don, man, come on. Relax there. You're coming across as a bit, cis-centric, aren't you, huh? Who are you to define what a man is, Don? I mean, look, obviously, he's so upset. He's so mad. And you could just hear the silence. You can hear the silence. Literally, nobody cares about this man. Nobody ever cared about. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel. Nobody ever cared in terms of him having anything worthy to say politically. I mean, but he's now going viral, not because he had something profound to say. He's going viral because millions upon millions of people are laughing at him, laughing at this temper tantrum, freaking out over Obama yucking it up with Trump at Carter's funeral, and the Democrats' refusal to stand up to Trump and the MAGA movement, and he can't believe it. He cannot believe his eyes. He's watching this funeral, and freaking Obama is yucking it up with Hitler. And he can't. Don Lemon can't believe it because it appears that Lemon actually believed Obama during the campaign. He believed, Don Lemon believed that Obama believed that Trump was really Hitler incarnate. Lemon believed that. Lemon believed that Obama believed that. Now, you would have thought that Lemon learned his lesson. That's a nice alliteration. Lemon learned his lesson with Biden, right? Back in November when Trump first came back triumphantly into the Oval Office after winning a historic landslide victory. Do you remember that meeting with the fire behind them? And Biden looked elated. Biden was smiling, man. Those cat teeth. He was smiling, welcoming Adolf back into the White House, assuring him of a smooth transition to power. Welcome back, Don. Welcome back. You would have thought that Lemon would have learned something from that initial counter, right? With Red Brand or Dark Brandon, Red Brand with the red background there. Oh, MAGA, the threat to democracy, fascists. Welcome back, Don. Smooth transition to power for you, Don. Love you, Don. Please don't send me to prison. You would have thought that Lemon learned something there. And what should Lemon have learned? What's the lesson? Put it in the chat. What should Lemon have learned from that encounter in the Oval Office with the fire behind them, with Biden smiling ear to ear, grinning ear to ear, welcoming Donald Trump back? What should he have learned? He should have learned that no one at the top, no leader inside the Democratic Party has any principles. None of them do. Certainly Bernie Sanders doesn't. He's willing to give them up real quick. None of them have any principles. No, they are all members of the permanent political class, and everything they do, everything they say, everything they act upon only is done so only in such a way that increases their own power and affluence. That's all they care about. No, not one of them leaves Washington poorer than when they walked into it. They're not Trump. Trump's the only one who left Washington poorer than when he entered. Every single one of Donnie's Democrats leave Washington infinitely richer than when they stepped in. Now, I know Obama's oratory can make the likes of Chris Matthews swoon. We all know he told us that. He got that thrill up his leg. But that swooning is all ultimately for the purpose of Obama acquiring and accumulating power so he can have a beautiful mansion in Martha's Vineyard. That swooning has price tags connected to it. It's all for the purpose of acquiring and accumulating power. And that power is what? What is that power? We talk about it all the time on this channel. What is that power ultimately? For both Republicans and Democrats. It's a duopoly. It's a two-party power. It's the power of a liberal globalist order that up until November the 5th ruled the world unimpeded. So when you become president, when you're elected president because of your swooning oratory, doesn't matter which party you represent. When you become president or when you're sworn in as a senator like Mitch McConnell or a representative like Mike Johnson, when that happens, you learn right away by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, permanent Washington, that you do not represent the American people, or you do not represent your constituents in Kentucky or your district in Louisiana. No, you rule the world. You don't represent, you rule. You don't represent, you rule. We ruled the Western sphere and the Western aligned sphere for 40 plus years during the Cold War in a bipolar world. And then when the Soviet Union fell in December of 1991, we, the United States, or the powers that be in DC, ruled the world. We were the only superpower. And it is at that moment that you learn that you need to be more concerned about what happens in Ukraine than you are about what happens in East Palestine, Ohio. You need to be more concerned about borders 10,000 miles away than you are about your own southern border. And that's also because your own donors that give you hundreds of millions of dollars don't want you concerned about that southern border because that's the source of their cheap labor that maximizes their profit margins and soars their stock value. You are now in charge of the liberal international order. You, the president, you, the senator, you, the representative, no matter what party you're in, and you keep your voters in line by appealing to the ideology that makes them swoon. And that would be identity politics for the left and tax cuts for the right. But something decisively disrupted that system on November the 5th. You overwhelmingly voted in the one man who for these last 8 years has promised to finally overturn, dismantle, and destroy this crooked globalist system. And you said, we're in. You're hired again. And now even the leaders in the highest ranks of this globalist regime are admitting you won. When Obama was yucking it up with Trump at Carter's funeral, that laughter is the admission you won. There's a new normal here. That's what we're seeing there. That's what we're seeing with Zuckerberg kissing the ring at Mar-a-Lago and flushing wokeness down the toilet at Facebook. That's why Jeff Bezos is watching his precious Washington Post basically burn to the ground with all the resignations and mass firings. That's why even freaking Joe Scarborough, Cogent, and Mika have bent the knee. It really does look like Don feels like he's the last liberal. He's the last real, true believer. And he's finding out the hard way that the world is moving on. We're entering a new conservative age, a civilizationalist, techno-populist age where MAGA is the norm. That's the nightmare for old Don Lemon. There's no normalizing MAGA, Donnie. MAGA is the norm. Nobody, Obama, Democrat leadership, they're not normalizing MAGA. The friends that once stood next to Don Lemon are simply recognizing what Donnie can't bring himself to accept. MAGA has won. MAGA is the future. And we are 7 days away from the beginning of it all. Over to you, gang. No, Mike, our producer. Mike, are you there? I think
yes, I am.
Maybe ask some questions, but we're going to go over to our very private, exclusive live stream where we get to ask. They get to ask me their questions directly. So
yeah, we've got a bunch of questions that you guys have already sent in. If you would like to ask your questions as we transition very shortly over to our private uncensored live stream, you can just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. You'll be able to join every Monday and Friday. We have these live streams where we have our members ask questions. So we'll do a couple of those, and you can go back and scan the QR code if you couldn't get your phone out in time. But we're going to do some of these questions. We have a lot of them coming in. So we got first one, William O'Toole, Dr. Steve, Happy New Year. If Donald Trump really is intent on breaking up the bureaucracies and alphabet institutions, 1 or 2 suggestions. Put the Department of Agriculture in a blue state to help turn that state red, and make all taxpayers happy by sticking the IRS in Nome, Alaska. One other question. Will Trump negotiate the Panama Canal by threatening to build a new canal in Nicaragua, as has been proposed several times in history? Your thoughts? Great question.
That's a very, very good question. I have not seen anything like that. Let me just do a very quick search on that to see if there's been. I'm not seeing anything in terms of the top news stories of late. That would be fascinating, and that'd be really neat way of being able to try to leverage the discussion, quote unquote, in Panama. I think Trump is going to come up with an offer they can't refuse. That'd be very fascinating. I love your suggestions. Well, I mean, IRS in Nome, Alaska. I love it until we finally get rid of them, right? Even Trump has been playing around with that idea of just putting in a McKinley-like tariff system and no income taxes at all. But we'll have to see. There is clearly going to be, from what I'm understanding, particularly from Cash with the FBI, there is going to be a dismantling, geographic dismantling of the deep state, the alphabet, like agencies, as you put it. I like the idea of the Department of Agriculture in a blue state. That'd be interesting. I wonder if maybe in California that would be that to help. They're talking. Well, they're talking. There are proposals. Jesse Waters is putting it out there that the federal government should just take over California at this point. They're a national security risk. I mean, if they can make the argument that they're a national security risk, that they're blatant left-wing bio-Leninist incompetence is putting the nation as a whole at risk. So this is an issue of democracy anymore. This is just plain stupidity that is quite potentially burning everything to the ground. Maybe we need to take over California. If you weren't to do anything like that, if we weren't to do something like that, then maybe actually restructuring the federal government inside California might be a key as well. And with the goal of turning California red. It is moving red. You should know that. We've talked about that several times. California is moving red. It's significantly moved to the right between 2020 and 2024. And it looks like it'll continue to do so from 2024 to 2028, especially after these fires, especially after people in the LA County suddenly realizing, I think to their horror, what they've been voting in. So yeah, I love it. I love both those suggestions, William.
That is a great question. We got a question from Vlad. He would like to know, are we going to have an Insiders Club watch party for the inauguration, or what are our plans for the inauguration?
Well, it looks like yours truly will be in DC. I think even Mike, are you coming? I think you're.
I haven't actually talked to my dad in a little bit, so we'll see. I gotta figure that out, but I think so.
I think we need a cameraman.
Yeah,
I think we need a cameraman. So I'll be in DC. So yes, we'll see. Keep abreast of our texts and email of what to expect, and I'll let you guys know on our Friday live stream as well. But we're in the works right now of securing tickets to the inauguration. Some very special tickets. It looks like we're very blessed with this, and yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a fun night. So maybe we'll be doing a live stream from DC Monday night.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Will it not? Yeah, that'd be great.
We're definitely gonna document Dr. Steve in the crowd, so it's gonna be great.
That's right. That's right.
Good. Awesome. All right, we got a question from ROT Core. Dr. Turley, expanding on my idea of Scott Pressler helping to clean up after the fires, change the shirts and hat from MAGA to make Pacific Palisades great again, and make Altadena great again. That way, it's not provocative to the residents that hate MAGA, but it does get the MAGA message out there, and it's relatable for the residents. Plus, it will really make any protesters that show up look extra vile. Also, maybe a Give, Send, Go page to collect money to help rebuild.
I love it. I love it, RT. I don't know how many thousands are watching right now, but it's a great idea. Somebody make this happen. This is phenomenal. Yep. So, and maybe we could send Scott a note on that. I don't know what Scott. He'll probably be at the inauguration as well. So we tend to, since we're in the Pennsylvania area, we tend to frequent the same crowd. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's a great suggestion, RT. We'll do maybe one or two more, and then we will transition over to our uncensored live stream. So if you want to click the link below, you guys can, and join us where you can ask any question you'd like, and then join us every Monday and Friday to ask any questions that you'd like as they come up, as politics keep changing, especially with this new presidency. Gator asks, everyone's talking about people and property. What about the critters? How many of them will be close to, if not put on the endangered species list, like the smelt fish?
Is that metaphorical?
Yeah. I think, Gator, you might put this in the chat. I think you might be referring to
with Gator's name too, which is funny.
Yeah, maybe liberal policies that are looking for any, like what Newsom did with the water and trying to, all these environmentalists are trying to put all these animals on the endangered species list to make it as difficult as possible for.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being literal there, look, even Europe is rejecting this Green New Deal crap. The Green Party is collapsing all throughout Europe right now. Just ask Austria, just ask Germany right now. They're collapsing literally everywhere. The problem with environmentalism is that it's outdated, it's old, it's part of an old industrialized world that puts the ecology and technology and in industry in separate boxes. So if we're going to be concerned about our ecology, we have to scale back on industry. If we want to unleash industry, we're going to ruin our ecology. And Elon Musk and the new tech right are all demonstrating that's just not true anymore. Especially in the world of cyberspace, that's just not true. The more innovative, the more technological, and the more industrial we become, ironically, the more we can help and be a part of the environment. It's rooted in a 19th and 20th century notion that the human person is a kind of accident in the biosphere, in the cosmos, as it were. It's a very Darwinian notion. And so, in other words, the world was doing just fine till we showed up. And ironically, the new science, the new physics, the new biology, consciousness studies, they're all coming to a very different conclusion. This is where the French scholar Teilhard de Chardin is just so brilliant with his concept of the noosphere. He sees 3 stages, and he uses a totally evolutionary model, not so much Darwinian, but he does see a developmental model where he sees first you've got the geosphere, so that's the plates and the molten and so forth that creates the planet. Then you have the biosphere that creates life. But now he said we are all entering into, and he's writing in the 1940s with this stuff. He's very visionary as a scientist. We're entering into what he called the noosphere, where the human mind is now interacting with the development of the planet and the galactic sphere and the whole cosmos and the like, such that now the human mind is every bit a part of cosmic development as the geosphere and the biosphere would have been. So it's not like you've got Earth everything's going fine, and all of a sudden we show up and start screwing things up. No, Earth and the cosmos and physics and the astral, the planetary and so forth, they all somehow intended for us to be here. So obviously it's very theological. It's known as the anthropic principle in physics. The processes of cosmic development want humanity. They want a mind to be a part of and guide, or not even guide, because there's a bigger mind guiding the whole process. That's what Teilhard noticed. In all natural processes, everything is breaking down, but somehow the world, the natural processes of the world keep overcoming that breakdown, and they're developing and they're going somewhere. So he believes that there really is an agency and literally a mind behind that, and that fits with consciousness studies. Consciousness studies don't believe that human consciousness can come from unconscious, blind material processes. Mind doesn't come from matter. It's the other way around. Matter comes from mind. Cosmos comes from consciousness. In the beginning, God, right? Or in the beginning was the Word. So, because of the impossibility of consciousness coming from unconscious processes. So the noosphere, ironically, is the ultimate manifestation of the true nous. That's the Greek word for mind. That's where we get the term noosphere from, noosphere, as it were. The true nous that's behind all things. So what does that mean? It means that the more technological, the more innovative, the more the human mind interacts with the cosmic order, the more it cannot just save the planet, the more it can actually transfigure and transform and literally vitalize the planet. So all these environmentalists, they're in this old 19th, 20th century, dirty lake and sea, smog-filled world. That's where they are. The new world that's rising sees a beautiful symbiosis between ecology and industry, tradition and technology. And it's time for us to just leave the Gretas of the world behind. And California, as you could see, is paying for this big time. Their policies now are such that there's no way anybody's going to get fire insurance, because the policies, the public policies are such that they're basically, I think Victor Davis Hanson was talking about, they're basically pastoral conditions indicative of the 19th century. So they don't have, I mean, they've got all the natural resources to have all the water they need, and all the forestation practices they need to make sure these fires don't happen. But they weren't practicing these things in the 19th century. They weren't distributing water like they can today in the 19th century. So basically, you have 21st century homes in 19th century conditions, precisely because of these left-wing, greenflation policies that believe that the environment and innovation belong in two fundamentally different categories, and you can't have one without sacrificing the other. Those days are over. So that's a long question, but in the end, you can have animals on an endangered list, but then you find the technologies that are there to help revitalize the population rather than push back against innovation.
Awesome. Well, with that, we're going to transition over to our private live stream. And I saw a couple comments in the YouTube chat asking about why aren't our super chats on? And come on, Dr. Turley, turn on your super chats. And unfortunately, our channel's been demonetized for over a year now. We just hit that 1-year anniversary, unfortunately, for Dr. Steve's channel. And so the way you guys can support us is by joining us at this link and joining our Insiders Club, or our Courageous Conservative Club, as we call it, and becoming a member, where we have over 5,500 members already, and we would love for you to join. And we will try to get to all of our members' questions after we transition over to our private live stream. It also allows us to talk about topics that YouTube doesn't necessarily want us to talk about, and we don't want to draw the ire of YouTube any more than we already have, since we've been demonetized for a year. So scan that QR code, click the link below, and we will see you guys over in our private live stream in 30 seconds.
Come on over.